What's going on, good people? Welcome back to Four Titles, One Truth. It's your boy, I'm Tommy.
That's Tommy, y'all. And I'm Lance.
Facts.
And today, we're answering another question we get asked often.
Yes. To our faces, especially by people who are still serving, that are in that latter part of their career. How and when did we know it was time to retire?
That moment is complicated.
Yes.
It's emotional. It's powerful. So let's get into it.
Okay, let's go. Sure.
All right. What was the exact moment or situation when you knew it was time to retire?
All right, so I'll preface this by saying when I finally moved to my last job, I knew I was in the stratosphere, right?
Okay.
So I knew I was at the end.
It's close.
Yeah, I was at the 27 and some change. And as a sergeant major, you can only serve 30 unless you're serving in the office of a general.
Okay.
So, and then you can tack on to whatever you are, because you got people that serve 40 years. But 30 and I think it's 65 are the timeline. But anyway, so I knew my last job. I knew that I was knocking on the door. But just like with any other job, once you get on ground, you put your whole heart, spirit into it. Something that's been good and bad.
Be remembered.
Yeah, because you want make an impression,
Legacy.
make a difference, and also do your job.
Right.
You know, and I was walking into a sort of a situation that was sergeant major-less for a moment, and my battle buddy, the colonel, he had it was a bad taste in his mouth about he had taken over the responsibility of just doing things by himself, because he was alone, didn't have a senior advisor. So coming in, I had to present myself, build a relationship, and all that. So I was in the fight, and once I was there, retirement wasn't on my mind, because there was just so many things to do. And then COVID hit. Yeah. And for the first time in my military career, the world stopped spinning. Because, once COVID was officially announced, we stopped receiving people at basic training.
Ooh.
We stopped sending people from AIT, which is their advanced individual training, which meant we stopped sending people to the force for 2 straight weeks. The Army did that. And that's never happened in my military life. So I didn't have phones to answer. I didn't have meetings to go to for 2 weeks, and I wasn't on leave. So that was weird. And I wasn't the only one that felt it.
Used to
The
be
world
busy
felt
all
it.
the time. Yeah.
And so we ended up doing the Zoom thing and all that stuff. So being at home became a thing, and something I never thought I could do was work from home, and it became a thing.
Yeah.
And so that was when it started to slow down enough for me to think about it. And then I got the message from headquarters, DA, saying, knock, knock. You're at this point, and, with me still in my mind hopeful that there's another job around the corner, that email made me stop and like, it's time.
Right.
So getting that email was the first time when I literally exhaled, and that Army energy was starting to leave my body.
Okay.
But the first time when I knew it was time for me to go was about 6 months into my newest job, because I could tell that I was no longer in sync with the Army way of doing things.
Yeah.
Not in the way I knew how to do it, but the way that other senior leaders were doing it. And it was conflicting with me. And the more pressure I tried to put on people, uh, it didn't matter.
You need to, I mean, you feel like you're fighting with folks, and it's just like it's not. It's
With no results.
Yeah,
you
I mean,
know.
it's like
So,
not worth it. Yeah.
so that's me. What about you?
Yeah, for me, I mean, coming from my assignment before I retired, I only had like 2 years left because it's 30 years for us too. So I mean, I only had like 2 years left before they were like, it's time to go. Yeah,
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for your
God bless and good night.
3 years because I was like 27 and a half.
Right. That's when I met you.
Yeah. So it was like, hey, so I knew that I was coming to my last assignment. I was how long am I going to be in that?
Right.
So I knew I had to be in the job for at least a year because I was PCS and because Audra had just retired out in Virginia. So getting there, and I knew I was coming back to a situation where it was like, I'm tired of fixing problems, tired of fixing problems. And similar to what you were just saying right there is like, Army is changing.
Yeah.
It's changing. It's different from what I had been growing up in and had been leading in. And it was just watching everybody else around me, all the friends. You were retired when I met you. Yeah. Audra had just retired. Yeah. Some of our couple of other friends, Terrence and a couple of other guys that about to, knew that they were about to retire. So it was like, it's gonna happen at some point, But it was like I want to get in, work, see what I can do because I enjoy, like I said, enjoy what I did and enjoy the place where I was and the folks who I was working with. And I was walking the dogs one Saturday morning and I started getting phone calls about work stuff where it was like, why are these phone calls coming to me?
Right.
It's two other layers beneath me
before it needs
that
to
this
get
should
to you.
be getting dealt with before it's coming to me.
Right.
So I'm getting these direct phone calls where it's like, hold on, we need to call the person that's underneath me to find so I can find out so I can find out what's going on. I said, so I called, I would call them and like, sir, we already told them blah blah blah, they're trying to go over our head. I was like, okay. So I called them back, and I already knew the answer before I called them because it's like, that's how we do business, that's the SOP, and to let them know, hey, we're not, this is how we do business. They were absolutely correct in what they tell you, no, or whatever. So it was, and I hang up, get another text, phone call, and I was just like, I can't do, I can't continue to do this. I said, this is driving me nuts. And it was a February. It was a February Saturday. I can't tell you exactly what the day. I had to look at the calendar, but about 2 weeks after that, we got in the beginning of March. Got my memo, got everything together, submitted it, and I felt good, and I pushed send, and I felt good.
Yeah.
It was just one of those like, you know what, it's time and I'm fine. And and I always tell folks, I was like, I'm not gonna be on active duty retired. I said I'm gonna work all the way to, I'm gonna give you what I can till I'm done, and then we go from there. So, but that was my day. That it was just like I can't. It's just.
Yeah.
Just lose, just lost the fight for the silliness, And
I just go and say it. Everybody says it. You'll know when it's time to retire. And I'm telling you, it's because you come at a fork in the road. And you're at that, like for me, you're like, the Army's changing, realizing that it's changing. And progress is not what I was fighting. It's what I believed was right for the Army was not being seen across the board like it used to be. Now there were other ways. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to argue who was right and who was wrong. You know what I'm saying? But that was just like, it was the writing on the wall, man. It was, when you're like, I don't have the energy to try to self-correct the Army. I've been doing that for a long time, trying to uphold the standards, uphold the mission the focus and accomplish every mission to and above standard. And I started to feel like that's not what the team around me wants to do.
And you get to a point where, especially when you're up in rank, where it's like you kind of know what your next job, so if you are at that point where you're unsure, or that I don't have a next job after this, then it gets a little easier. But it's still difficult because you have been doing that. You've been in this company, this organization for
muscle
years.
memory.
You've been in there for years. So it does mean something to you, because you can be pissed off at it, dislike it at times, but you still love it.
Because it's hard to get over something that you were good to great at.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, you came back here after Audra retired. You came back here, but you were thinking you were going to another job, right?
Well, I had interviewed for another job. So I knew I was coming back to a job that I had previously done.
Right.
It was rank. It was rank appropriate for what my MOS job and all of that stuff is. I had interviewed for a different position, but got redirected back there because of the need.
Right. So did not getting that job add to it, or
it did? It did a little bit, because you get a little, and I don't care what you get a little butthurt about stuff, a little. So it was a little bit of wow. Yeah. Forget these jokers.
By not getting a command.
Yeah, I
was like, okay. Yeah, I was fired up. I'm not going to use that phrase, but I was still fired up.
But it didn't. It wasn't thing where I was like, well, I'm done as soon as my year is over. Yeah, but
All right. So was your decision met with support? Was it met with confusion? And I'm talking about by your soldiers, by your staff, by your family, and even by you.
Okay. No, nobody in my family was confused. I wasn't confused. And I had my my soldiers, and folks who I work with were like, "What you're not?" It's like, no. I said it's time. I said because people don't. I don't think some people realize how long. No. How long I've been in, or it's like, you've been in for that. It's been that long. Yeah. And it's a
moment thing.
Yeah. And it was one of those things. So I had full support of the family, which that's the big thing. And the folks at work, because I enjoyed what I was doing and real care for those folks. It was hard. That piece was hard for me leaving them, because those were. I'm going and I'm spending 10 hours, 10, 12 hours a day with those folks.
And the noise you've already talked about. The noise and always.
Yeah, so those folks, folks' families and kids and things like that. So that piece is like, man, I'm not going to see, these folks every day or talk to these people because you have real conversations with them, outside of the work, that you do. So, but
and plus as and I'll specifically talk as a senior leader, you can't have the same relationship with those people, because it has to take a step back, because you don't want to interfere with the person that's coming in behind you. So it's a two-way street. It doesn't mean that you end all relationships. It just means that you're either going to continue to receive phone calls, emails, and text messages with problems that they're expecting you to fix, or you have to make sure they understand, hey, you need to go to the new person.
In my situation, the person wasn't going to be there for 3 months after I left. So it was, my thing before I left out was like, do you know who's coming? That was the question. I was, do you know who's coming behind you? Who's going to take your position? I was like, oh yeah, and it's, reassuring them, no, he's a good guy. He's going to be good for the department, for the organization. Y'all are
try to build
lucky.
them up.
I say it's good. So it was never a situation where, y'all are going.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. Y'all about to go down the drain. You know,
Suck
it's
it.
like no. You know, you want them to succeed
Yeah.
and do well. You know, because even when you leave on a note where things aren't at the highest, it's still a reflection on you,
Yeah.
good or bad, on how you left. You know, and because like in our area, we had put contracts and things like that in, you know, getting them in place. So we were just waiting for stuff to get approved, so stuff could get in and start. So
Get
anybody
better.
that's dealt
Yeah.
with contracts in the military knows that it's not an
immediate.
instant thing. Yeah, it's not an immediate thing, and it takes some time. But once they kick in, I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So, and that's things finally started kicking in, but it was
Yeah, past you.
a year
Yeah.
after I've been, you know, 6 months after I'm gone out the road, which is a great thing for them. So it's like, is everything going good? So good.
Yeah.
So we knew that we had a part in that, you know, trying to keep the big wheel moving,
Right.
you know, and make it move smoother. So,
And that's another thing that I just popped in my head is, you know, that last job, and I'll talk me specifically, and you could tell that he's in the same situation. Is you spend effort in building that team, and you spend effort in moving it in a direction that you've decided, along with your battle buddy and your peers and so forth, that this is the direction it needs to go. So that's a lot of work and energy that you put into something, and then when you are officially stepping back. And so my situation was a little different, to where I was able to ensure that my replacement was there, because I wanted to make sure that the continuity, and so my energy was making sure that he understood where we were,
okay,
and what we were doing, so that the decisions he helped push was all his, and not trying to rebuild the daggone thing.
right.
And so, but what I wanted to highlight is, you don't want to leave what you've just put in there, but that's what I'm saying, that writing on the wall, and you knowing, it's best for you to step away, because if your heart's not into it, you're not making anything better.
I mean, you're not giving them your
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And so my answer is surprise, I guess, was what the majority of my friends and family were thinking, because 30 years is a long time, and people just get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, they get used to seeing. I mean,
yeah, he's an Army.
Yeah.
That's just the actual response. So that was the surprise, but there was no lack of support. There was no lack of confusion, because the people that mattered the most knew exactly what was going on.
Celebration.
Yeah, but leaving the element that you're responsible for, and I was the school sergeant major, so I had so much going on, and trying to reestablish transportation at Fort Lee, or Gregory.
Don't ask me. I don't know what these new names.
I can't remember the new
Fort Lee. I know it's in Richmond,
but
Virginia.
just know that it was hard leaving after that decision, and leaving something that you felt was undone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, did you feel proud, relieved, or lost the day you officially took the uniform off?
Yes.
Okay. All of the above.
All of that. I was definitely proud of my service, because if nobody else in this world knew, I knew how much energy I put into the military.
You knew the effort.
Absolutely. And I also knew that I was one of the fortunate people in the world that found a job that fit me. So it was like losing something that I just loved doing. So I felt that. I felt relieved, because no longer having that responsibility takes stress off of you, takes a lot of things. I mean, being disciplined and locked in like that for so long, when you can exhale and understand that the only people you're responsible for is yourself and your family, that is a breath of fresh air. So that's where the relief came in. But I was lost as well, because my plan before I dropped my retirement paperwork, meaning when I first knew this was my last job. It was step back into the fight, whether it was because I was thinking about being a teacher, because one of my dreams was always to be a principal. And also it was just go for the money, and take a job that I knew could at least equal what I was going to get anyway. So just take that money. But and then all of a sudden, then not all of a sudden, but then also your family, and where's your priorities now? And so my priority was family at the time. And so I felt lost because I'm verbally choosing and my heart's choosing family, but my fears are, does that mean we have to change the way we're living? Does that mean that am I going to be able to settle into the role of all of this civilian life and all this stuff? And we had just moved into or we were going to build a home. So it's just all that stuff that even though we were financially sound, even though that we knew what we were going to do, it's new and you're unsure. So that's how it was for me.
Yeah, very new. I mean, with me, I was super proud.
Yeah.
Very proud. Because I was, and
I wasn't sure because I was very, very proud.
Yeah, I was proud.
And I wasn't sure about, I don't know how your career went. I'm just like,
I was proud of my, because I was proud of the fam, because at that point it was the family where it's like, okay, Audra did her 28 years, I did mine. But super proud. Relief, that one took a minute for me to get relieved, because it was like I felt I was so invested in that job and what we were doing and things like that to make myself go, that's not me anymore. I'm done. So really step away. Still. Yeah, to really step away from it. Took me a couple of months. A
reminder: he worked until that day. Versus me, I didn't. So I get it, because if I wouldn't have been able to step out of it,
because I didn't have a replacement coming in, so I was there until my terminal leave and all of that stuff started. So my out processing or whatever started. So, but it was fine. It's all good. I'm here. I'm still good here.
But it was rough. So,
but it was a little bit
separation anxiety.
I mean, because you're still getting the phone call. You still get the phone calls and stuff. And as far as being lost, I felt good about my decision as far as not going right back into work. And luckily I was my wife helped with that decision.
Good situation.
As far as so it was like she had got her job and was happy and
loving it.
And told me, it's like, I'm good. You don't have to you can stay at home, take care of the dogs.
And your two colonels.
Yeah. Well, that too. Which
empty
was a blessing.
Nesters.
Yeah. Which is that super blessing. Which that was part of the plan to get jokers out of the house and which they're not out the house, but they're still they're still adulting as far as
successfully adulting.
Yes, reaping the benefits of being in the house. But that was part of the plan, so it was one of those things where, again, was proud, that we were able to carry out our plan that we had made, and it worked out. But still, it was, again, doing it for so many years. I mean, I've been a nurse, been an OR nurse for so long, and just the getting up at 5 and getting into work by 5:30 and just I mean, it's
real
getting used to that piece, So
let me ask you, did you all the uniforms that you've had, what'd you do with
them? Made it some couple of them in the blankets.
Okay.
They get the little patch blankets, so you got a few of those that are done in that, but the other ones are got put in my dress uniforms. I hang it up in the closet in the guest room. Then the BDUs, ACUs, all, they're in storage. They're in a bin in storage. Ones that were still good. The other ones we donated.
So I donated all of them except I kept one full PT uniform, one BDU full uniform to include the headgear, and then one dress uniform.
Okay.
And I have them in those suit bags hanging in the,
You know, dress up for Halloween.
No, it was literally, and this is probably silly or whatever, but it was literally so. That was legacy thinking. So that my kids, you know, can see it and have it. Yeah.
Okay.
Even if they throw it away, it's just it was a little sentimental moment I had. Yeah. So. All right. What's one thing you wish someone had told you about the retirement transition? Before you went through it.
Yeah, I tell you what, I can't think of anything because I had such a good group around me, a good community around me of friends and family that had gone through it. That were like, hey, remember to do this. Hey, make sure that you go here, or call these people, or make sure that you do these classes when you're doing your retirement.
Right.
What can we call it?
That process.
Yeah.
Just say, yeah.
So I mean, I was extremely fortunate, lucky and fortunate that
you had people close.
I had people that had
Yeah.
done it before me,
Yeah.
and I was this time smart enough to actually listen and look and take a few notes and stuff about it so that I would remember these things, because it makes a huge difference
when you're walking into a known versus unknown.
When you don't have to go back and say, well, we need this from you too, or we need this, or you didn't do this, or you know, or you get out, because once you're out, you're out. You know, it's not like they're gonna let you walk back in.
Gone.
Yeah, so trying to take care of stuff after the fact is extremely difficult. So having those resources, and I appreciate you for helping out with that that piece for me, that process for me.
Nah, man, it's easy, man, because I didn't talk to you about the business aspect of it. I tried to make sure that you at least had an idea of my mind state. And I was just trying to make sure that you understood that these emotions could creep up on you. I didn't want you to get surprised by them. So, I mean, I was glad I could help at anything.
I appreciate it.
But for me, it's a couple things. One, it's a lonely process. And the reason I say it's lonely, not that your family's not there or whatever, but when you receive your orders, that's just you. When you are going to get your installation clearing papers and all your unit clearing papers, that's a you thing. And so it's like the Green Mile walk, you know what I mean? And it was very lonely, because while you're going through those moments, while people are signing on your out processing paperwork, it's just you in your head. You're like, this is the last time I'm going.
I would say, was it more the feeling of this is, the finality of this is the end?
It was,
this is it.
It was exactly the I being dotted on retired, because the word is there, but it seemed every step you're getting closer and closer. And it was not there were moments of reflection. There's moments of, of sadness. I ain't gonna lie, but it was just me by myself going through this process, that no matter who I talked to or who was familiar, because remember, my wife, Nikki, retired 2.5 years earlier. So it was, she was familiar with the process, but it's a path that you walk out the door by yourself. It's a personal thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a personal. I mean, and I agree with you on that piece, because you're the one. I mean, it's every time that I would go work out or exercise or walk, because I'm usually, it's either me walking by myself or me walking with the dogs.
Yeah,
and they're not talking back at me.
Yeah.
So I mean, so you get in your head and you're thinking about
if they are
different things. If they are,
that's a problem.
I need to start putting them on this show with us. Yeah, but you're absolutely correct. I mean, it is that's a you.
Yeah. 100%.
its youth.
And then the last thing I just say is, and something we've talked about before, the more you plan, and it's not locking in every detail, but the more that you can look past that retirement date and past that terminal leave and past that the like a year or two later, as long as you can start visualizing yourself after that, it makes it so much easier. Because there's two things that are guaranteed. Your plans are not going to go according to the way you want. Like I told you, I was supposed to be a principal. I was supposed to be on my way to being a principal or bringing in a bunch of money, right? But what I'm doing is, my wife and I opened a travel agency, and we're putting all of our energy into that, right? And then we have the podcast and a travel show. So that was nowhere
on the
on my
outline, on the timeline.
So, and that's a positive thing for me. But there are people I know who had plans to go out and get this job, had the job locked in, lined up, and then they get in that job and they hate it, and so now they're frustrated because their plans are not working, and also they're sort of they start to reach a dark place to where they're like, is anything going to replace it or whatever,
right?
So just know that your plan so that you have an idea that gives you comfort and confidence, but also just like you learned in the military, right? Plans, everybody has a plan till you get punched in the face. That's what Tyson said.
That's right. Be flexible. Keep that flexibility.
Real.
Yeah. So if you could go back, would you retire sooner, later, or right on time?
And so when I saw this question, it seemed like a quick answer for me at first, but then when I read it again, that would all depend on how my career went.
Mm-hmm.
So if my career stayed the same, then 30 years was the finish line, and nope, I'd go back and do it right? I'd do it the way I did it. But if I had made Sergeant Major earlier, I don't know if I would have stayed. I'm talking 5 years earlier. I don't know that I would have stayed 30 years. I don't know.
Right.
I think that if I would have made it to the Sergeant Major level, CSM or not, I think at some point I would have gotten tired of it, because I would have.
It's a lot.
I don't know if chasing jobs would have been as motivating as chasing rank.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I have friends that are
same
10 years. Yeah. I have friends that were 10 years sergeant majors and they loved it. I also have friends that got out at 20 because they were like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have friends that called and talked to me and said, be honest with me, and they've made the decision after a conversation with me to get out, and they were only 3 years in the rank, so and that leads me to believe that I'm not sure, man. I don't know if I'd do 30. I definitely would have always retired.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know it. I wasn't gonna do sooner because like I said, we had a plan, and the plan was always I wanted my kid. Well, for me, I always wanted the kids done with school before I retired, because I didn't want any of my. It's gonna sound selfish, but I didn't want any of my retirement going towards their livelihood, in that
Instead
manner
of
that it had been. Yeah, exactly. So I knew I was gonna do wait till they were done,
right?
And then after that, it was okay. What's the situation? Am I happy? Am I doing well?
You want to be there,
right? Yeah. Because I knew that I was only gonna do it. I knew, that I. Probably before I knew when I pinned on colonel, and probably when I was a late lieutenant colonel, that the most that I was going to get to do was 30.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't done some of those different
to extend
courses to say, okay, yep, we can look at you for BG or whatever. So.
That's true.
So I knew that the 30 was going to be my limit. And then it was just going to be it was going to be 30, or was it going to what was it going to be, between there. So I'm glad. I mean, and I look back on I feel like I made a good decision, because I look back over the last year after I retired, and was like, man, I said I wouldn't have my second dog.
Yeah.
Some of the things that I wouldn't have done if I would have stayed in. Yeah, if I would have stayed in and finished up, and did a full 30 or whatever. So I'm good.
And just so people who aren't military familiar, every rank has a finish line. Every rank that you achieve, there is you can't serve longer than date. So for instance, E9 was 30 years, E8 was 28. I'm not sure if it's got pushed down to 26 and so forth. So if you don't make the highest rank, then you don't go to 30. And the same thing for the officer side. Every rank has
if I wouldn't have made colonel, I would have had to get out at like 26.
Yeah. So we all have a what's that called on the bread?
Expiration date.
We all have expiration date. Yeah,
best used by date.
Yeah, there you go. Best used by, because that joker ain't gonna make it. So, but just know this: retirement is not the end. You know why I can say that? Because there's two examples sitting in front of you.
Yeah,
we're happy. We're not in a dark space. We're living life, and we're trying our best to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just look at it as, if your mind is still military focused, a new mission. If it's not military focused, if you're trying to leave that behind, then look at it as a new chapter.
Yep.
And just like every chapter, it's up to you to make it the best for you.
Absolutely.
But that moment, the day you're done, it's powerful.
Yep.
It's also maybe unbelievable and unforgettable, but it's real.
Absolutely. And whatever the moment looked like for you, trust it.
Yep.
Honor it and use it to guide your next steps.
Yes. And think about you and your family.
Yep.
Nobody else.
Yep.
But once again, thank you for riding with us.
always,
Let us know the moment you knew it was time for you to say goodbye, even if it's not a military, even if you're a civilian and you're at that point, or you were at that point and you walked in that one day, or you woke up that one day and was like, nah,
I can't
I'm finished.
Do it anymore. I'm done.
And if you have that experience, do us a favor.
Yeah, let us know. That would be interesting.
Absolutely. Add it in the comments and send us a DM. Okay.
A direct message?
A direct message.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. A direct message.
I'm trying to be hip. My bad.
And don't forget to follow us at 4 Titles, 1 Truth on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
Yes, YouTube. Y'all can watch us on YouTube, and you can see the new set design.
Yeah,
that's just on the other side of the room. But also, we ask that you rate our show and leave us a review.
Please.
Because first off, it helps us in the circulation, right? And it helps get more eyes on our podcast as possible listeners. And then secondly, share this episode with a fellow friend, a fellow vet, or a fellow soldier, so that they can hear our experience and maybe help them through it if they're still serving, or they're a veteran, they're done, and they just want to go down memory lane. Just let us know.
Yeah. So join us next time.
So we can what?
So we can keep the conversation going, y'all.
There it is. Holla.
All right.